Dimension X was a largely unsponsored sci-fi radio play that ran from April 1950 to September 1951. It had 51 episodes, and it was produced by Van Woodard and William Welch. There's not a lot of information on those guys, but it was one of the bigger sci-fi radio shows that happened at the time, mainly because they had acquired the work of so many prominent science fiction writers. They had Isaac Asimov, Frederic Brown, Kurt Vonnegut stories, Ray Bradbury. They had an incredible catalog that they were pulling from. One of my favorite stories that they did is the Frederic Brown story, Knock. And this is based on the world's shortest horror story that he'd written. The last man on earth sits alone in a room. There's a knock at the door. So in this version, Frederic Brown expands on his world's shortest horror story, which is generally used as kind of like a fun writing prompt and things like that. But he actually finishes out in his vision. And the way that it comes across is the last man on earth is alone in a room, and then there's a knock, and he's greeted by an alien visitor called the Zon. And our guy, Walter, just starts calling the Zon George, so he has something to call him. As it turns out, Zon has eliminated all other human life, and Walter is the last man on Earth. He finds out that they're making kind of a Noah's Ark style zoo, and they have a male and female of all species. So he knows that there is another person alive, another female, and he soon comes to meet them. And we find out in the story that these beings from outer space, the Zon, they do not experience natural death. So as they see the animals start to die, they start to blame Walter, and they think that he's doing something. So all of a sudden, he becomes on trial. This is one of those ones where, honestly, like, I probably rolled my eyes about 50 times in the middle of it, and it really surprised me in the end. It had a great ending. I think that the concept of it is almost cooler than the story itself, but it is amazingly done. It was also later in the mid-50s, there was another show that came out called X-1, and X-1 made use of a ton of the old scripts and stories from Dimension X. And then later, in 74, there's a professor at the University of Western Michigan, I believe, in Kalamazoo, and they made Future Tense, which was yet another radio play that was pulling from Dimension X and X-1 scripts and redoing them. His was just with, non-professional actors and things like that. But still, those are all pretty interesting ones that you can check out. I will put the link for the Knock episode from Dimension X because it's the best one of all of them. But, at some point, we'll talk more about Future Tense as well. Thanks for listening.